I was on the Today Show, and the host at the time was Dave Garroway. I happened to see in the Boston Globe that he was auctioning off his estate, and this car was part of the estate. I used it as my only car, actually, for a couple of years, and actually parked it on the street in Harvard Square, if you can believe that.
Really? Huh?
Yeah.
It was a great car, fun to drive, really fantastic, sexy looking. And if you had a Jag and you were a young guy and you had the top down in an XKE, boy, you were something.
When I first got it and I was young and single, it was a great statement. It drew attention even if I didn't. As I got, after I got married, it sat around for a while, and I used to take the kids to get an ice cream in it. It probably has gone in the last 35 years, it may have gone 6,000 miles.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's got 36 or 38,000 original miles on it.
Wow. Well, let's open the hood. Let's take a peek.
Yeah.
He told me that the car had been painted and changed the color from this cream color into a gray color. And so my big fear was that the cream color was still under the hood and under the bonnet, because some people, they didn't completely repaint a car. They would just paint the exterior. So you explained to me on the phone that there was a color change at one time.
Yeah, the car was cream with a red interior, and back in the 70s, a friend of mine was working at a body shop, and he took it down to bare metal and shot it with acrylic lacquer.
Did you have the engine out of the car to do it?
No, I stripped the engine down. I took the carburetors, intake manifold, and all that off, and the exhaust, so that I could get to the frame here to shoot it. And
gotcha.
This is a rattle can paint job on the frame down here.
Okay. Pleasantly surprised. They opened the bonnet. The engine looks really nice and tidy, real clean, as well as all the frame rails in the front. The cowling has been painted the gray color. These tires look like the original Dunlop style tires.
A friend of mine was doing testing on tires, and he was able to pick these up. These are probably from 1971, but the original spare, the wide white wall bias ply, is in the trunk.
So it had wide white walls, yeah?
It had the wide white walls, yeah.
Jerry told me his Jag is a 1962, but the welded hood louvers are a clue. They tell me it likely was produced earlier than that.
So it was probably manufactured in 1961.
Yeah, December of 61.
Tell me, why is the interior part here?
What happened was it had put in an 8-track tape back in the 70s, and in doing so, I had screwed into the console. About 10 years ago, I took the console out. I bought an aluminum kit, and I was going to put it all back together, and
that's where the project stopped?
Yes, that's where the project stopped.
Those things can happen.
Yeah.
I bet you the gasoline's probably pretty rotten in there.
I drained the tank 20 years ago. You can take a whiff, but it should smell fine. I drained the coolant out of it, too.
Okay.
It shouldn't smell too bad anymore.
Yeah, it's not bad. It smelled worse, but we'd probably take the tank out and clean it all anyways. So when's the last time it turned over?
Last summer, what I'd do is I would give it an annual squirt of Marble Mystery Oil.
Yeah.
And I had the plugs out, and I actually pushed it, and the Marble Mystery Oil came out and came all over the top of the head.
Yeah.
Right now, with the plugs in it, it seems to be a little hung up.
You know what I would do is, if I buy it, is I'll just take the plugs out and we'll put some stuff in.
These are finger tight.
Oh, okay.
Because I took the cam covers off and the O-ring back here, soaked it with Marble Mystery Oil and Croil.
Oh, okay.
So hopefully I'm ahead of it as far as loosening it up.
Probably will turn right over. The nose seems to fit pretty good. Looks like the top was replaced at one time.
Yeah, I think it was in the mid-'80s. It's a Hearts top, which I thought gave it a little more of an elegant look.
Yeah.
And the top, if you can tell by the rear window, I may have had the top down a couple of times.
Yeah. Well, because of the darkness in here, and it's certainly, the garage looks like it's dry as a bone.
Yeah, and I run the dehumidifier all the time.
There's no corrosion underneath. That's why the tires don't have any cracks in them. That's why the interior and the top has stayed so good. I go in a lot of garages and a lot of barns, and unfortunately some places are very moisture prone. This garage is impeccable. I mean, the floor is painted beautifully. It seems very nice and dry inside. The wheels are probably clean up pretty good. Tires aren't even dry rotted, they're not cracked, which tells me that no sunlight has got in this garage. So those are all positive things.